Welcome back to probably the final last door.
Remember that in a voltaic cell, the anode at which oxidation occurs is the negative electrode. The cathode at which reduction occurs is the positive electrode. Electrons flow through the external circuit from anode to cathode.
Let's take a look at this voltaic cell, and on the left you see the anode and on the right you see the cathode. These of course are the twin pillars, Boaz being the negative, the anode, and Joaquin being the positive, the cathode. So remember, in this system the zinc, the Ba, the negative, is losing matter. The positive, the Ka, the copper, is attracting matter. Let's go back to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's analyze the words. You can drop the Ra of Gomorrah because the Ra has been put there out of religious purpose. That gives us Sodom and Gomorrah. So you can turn around the Mor and that gives you Sodom and Gorom. I think the means metal. That will become clearer later in the video. Now let's presume that Sodom is the Ba, basot, zinc, and that Gorom is the Ka, the copper. So we know that the wife of Lot changed into a pillar of salt. That might be the corrosion of one pole. As you see, Sodom and Gomorrah were situated in the power field of the Solomon star. Now let's presume that Sodom and Gomorrah were two towers, one in copper and one in zinc. Then something happened and the system was destroyed. Now let's follow this assumption and go to another city, Babel, or should we say Babil, the Ba metal. On the bottom of the star we had Rome, or should we say R, but because R is the Ka, you have Ka-rum, or chrome. Now let's suggest that Rome and Babylon are part of a gigantic voltaic cell. That would make of Rome the Ka, the copper, the positive, and of Babylon the Ba, the negative. Remember that the Ba, the negative, is losing matter. That would explain the collapse of the Tower of Babel. Let's move up in history to the atomic age, the At-Om. Let me show again the electric pattern that was created with the Solomon stars. I showed you in my previous video that New York is the center point of this energetic system. In the meantime, as you know, they have rebuilt the Twin Towers, but in another shape. Let's take a look at Ground Zero. In the front you notice these copper roofed buildings. That would be the Ka, copper. The new Twin Towers would be the Ba. But remember, we are in the atomic age, so let's take a look at a very interesting building. Well, that looks like a very nice church, but that reminds me of some other nice churches I know. This building is made of solid concrete. Strange for a church. The coming Christ. That reminds me of a place in Belgium where we have 4 churches next to each other. And are these the Twin Towers? But wait, it's getting more interesting when you look at a fuel assembly. You have a round one, you have a squared one. Are you getting it, people? Yes, you got it? Let's take a look at the inside. So the inside of the building might have been loaded with uranium. That explains why the building collapsed so easy. Why the building fell into dust. And the high levels of radiation. So here another variation of the fuel assembly. Everybody knows, of course, the theories of ancient technology, the Roman fasces being an energetic system. What is happening now? I think they have reactivated the Solomon system. Remember, people, what happened? The Twin Towers collapsed and the conspiracy theories, the big awakening was happening to the entire planet. People are asking questions. Why was that? That was because this energetic system was out of order for a number of years. What will happen now the system has been reactivated? Well, let's look at history, at the Bible. I think we will see some biblical events happening, like the 10 plagues of Egypt, because this energetic system is drawing energy out of our crater. And it's already starting. Somebody sent me this link. Look at it. Let's take a look at the position of Chernobyl. So let's take the Solomon star and rotate it. But look at the inside. So you have Tripoli, Rome and Kiev. What's above Kiev? That's Chernobyl. So remember the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, the sudden destruction. My assumption would be that the force field of this Solomon star destroyed Chernobyl and is now responsible for this sudden peak. Let's rotate this Solomon star in the other direction, and that brings us to Somalia. Look at this article. Would this coronavirus have something to do with it? That, of course, is all very bad news, but I have some good news too. To understand the good news, we have to go back in time. I'll give you a personal interpretation of historical events. The parasites created an energetic system to feed their entity, located in Jerusalem. The Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar understood the danger. He conquered Jerusalem and destroyed the Temple of Solomon. Unfortunately, he made 2 mistakes. 1. He put the Israelites in exile. Secondly, he forgot to destroy the box of Pandora, the Ark of the Covenant. 25 years later, after the death of Nebuchadnezzar II, the Babylonians were conquered by the Persians, by Cyrus the Great. Unfortunately, a very weak leader. He agreed that the poor parasites could rebuild their temple, not understanding the dangers. Now, of course, we have this very strong leader, drainer of the swamp. Now lately, the parasites have been declaring that Trump is a real hero. They compare him with Cyrus the Great. Why is that? That is because Trump has been moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Sure. Everybody thinks that the Temple of Solomon must be rebuilt in Jerusalem. Well, they are wrong. So who could be a better president? A New Yorker with a lot of financial influence. So I think this is the new Temple of Solomon. This temple is holding the Ark of the Covenant. So what would be in the Ark of the Covenant? Well, you would surely find this Benben stone. This is Ra, the supercomputer crystal, also called Yahweh. But Yahweh is very hungry. He constantly needs energy. Yahweh has already consumed half of our crater. And when the rest of our crater will be consumed, well, there's another crater waiting. Mars is ready. See it as an energy-eating parasite. So you have the crystal. Under that you have the hive mind Ashkenazi worker bees, and they are definitely not human. And they are carrying the box of Pandora all over our planet, from crater to crater, playing the poor refugees on the run for the flood. Ah. So the worker bees make sure that Yahweh has constant food. With that food, the parasite can create its counter-rotating pyramidal field, bringing the world in a constant hypnosis. So what is the good news then, I hear you say? Well, at least now we know where the parasite is hiding. So there are 3 solutions now. 1. Eradicate the worker bees. 2. Cut off the power supply. And ultimately, we have to destroy this crystal. We cannot let it escape, so it can destroy other life forms.